The government shutdown is now the longest in U.S. history. We take a closer look at the health insurance concerns at the heart of the congressional stalemate.
Despite the administration's previous position, today they've promised partial benefits coming from a contingency fund. More on when citizens can expect that relief.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Good morning, Portage County. My name is Lucas Foote.
And I'm Alex Tosco. Thank you so much for joining us for your Thursday morning Flashcast.
It's Election Day here in the United States, and as voters flock to the polls, residents locally in Parma are set to vote on a new school levy, something they have not passed in 14 years. According to the district's levy website, they say the district is facing a serious financial shortfall caused by rising operational costs, flat state funding, and the district's growing student needs. Throughout the rest of the state, there are also many new tax and income tax increases on the ballot.
Locally here in Kent, there are 3 races on the ballot. There are 3 council-at-large seats available for 6 candidates. Kent City School District's school board has 3 open seats and 4 candidates. The city is asking for a tax renewal to maintain and operate the fire station west of the Erie Railroad and for approval of 6 changes to the city charter. Jack Amrine, a Democrat, is running unopposed for mayor.
With Congress now tied for its longest ever shutdown, a small group of fed-up lawmakers in Washington are furiously trying to end the standoff as soon as this week. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is not yet certain the end is in sight, saying Monday he is optimistic but not confident. Already on day 35 of the shutdown, food banks nationwide are swamped with new families and workers applying for unemployment benefits, and air traffic control is struggling across the country.
You can now sign up for health insurance on the Affordable Care Act exchange. Open enrollment for 2026 health coverage began over the weekend. Many families were shocked by the spike in costs, and that number could keep going up if lawmakers don't extend federal subsidies that help lower their monthly costs. KFF, a nonprofit focused on health policy, found insurance companies on the Affordable Care Act are rising premium costs by roughly 26% next year.
A potential agreement to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies appears to be possible. It's the major issue at the heart of the ongoing government shutdown. On Monday, a 4-member bipartisan group of House lawmakers announced an outline for how to potentially extend the subsidies. The deal would extend subsidies for 2 years, but also include certain eligibility caps and guardrails.
The Senate returned to Capitol Hill Monday, but Republicans and Democrats appear no closer to resolving their shutdown stalemate. Facing a Monday deadline from a federal judge in Rhode Island, the Trump administration said it will fund only half of November's SNAP benefits, but food stamp recipients will not see payments immediately. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said it will tap $4.65 billion from its contingency fund. Those funds will be obligated to cover 50% of current allotments for eligible households.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney died on Monday, according to a statement from his family. The former vice president died of complications with pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Cheney was the vice president during the George W. Bush administration from 2001 to 2009. He also helped the U.S. in their war on terror efforts after the September 11th attacks in 2001. Cheney is survived by his wife Lynn and daughters Liz and Mary.
Keeping you informed and ahead of the storm, this is your KSTV weather.
While the weather outside is starting to cool, the weather in the Franklin Hall studio is perfect. So let's check out the forecast. All right, so we're going to start up in Cleveland here. Close to the lake, it's about 50 degrees. Here in Kent, it's about 46. We head a little bit south in Akron, Canton. It's about 42 degrees. It's a little bit colder than Kent. We head to Worcester, it's about 44. We're going to head west to Sandusky, it's about 44. Now, similarly, we're going to check out today's forecast. It's about 59 degrees out. It was a cool walk here this morning. Had to have my jacket, or else it was going to be very cold. The humidity is about 44%, not very humid, but when we're looking at the weather, or the wind, it's very windy today. Now we are going to head into tomorrow's forecast. It's supposed to be rainy, around 62 degrees in the afternoon. It'll be cloudy in the morning at the sunset at 5:15. The wind, though, it's very windy. At Kent State, obviously, it's always windy, built right on a wind tunnel. Always going to be windy here. Now we're heading to the extended forecast for the week. We're going to look at the weekend first. It'll be about 52 degrees and 45. Shout out Sunday, 6-7% chance of rain out. Friday, though, it's going to be very, very rainy, about 94% chance of rain. Definitely bring your umbrella with you. Not just tomorrow, not just Friday, but the whole week. Getting into the weekend, or next week, it's going to be snowy on Monday, the first snow of the year potentially. It's going to be very cold too, 34 degrees, 38, starting to look more like winter as we get past this time change and into the end of the fall season and into December. Now going from that, it is time to dust off your winter jackets. But for now, that's all we have for weather. I'm Josh Zaramet, back to the desk.
According to Fox 8 News, local businessman Bobby George will not go to prison despite pleading guilty to a felony charge. The plea was part of an agreement with a special prosecutor. Special prosecutor Jane Hanlon said after the fact, quote, "It cannot be sealed. Bobby George will be a convicted felon for the rest of his life." George was sentenced to 5 years probation and ordered to have no contact with the victim. The newest People magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year made history. Find out what the Wicked and Bridgerton star Jonathan Bailey had to say about the honor.
Find out which Cardinals got in the end zone in their win over the Cowboys last night.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
Okay, so let's check in on the Kent State teams. First, we're going to start on the men's side. The Flashes dropped a thriller in overtime against Troy last night by a final of 103-97 after scoring a whopping 53 points in the second half. Kent was led in scoring by Delreco Giuseppe with 22 as well as 16 rebounds. Kent State will look to bounce back on Friday at home against Cornell. This will be Cornell's first matchup of the season. Now heading from the men's to the women's side of the court, Kent State absolutely got destroyed last night by a final of 48-80 against the James Madison Dukes. No players on Kent scored more than 10 points all night, while Peyton McDaniel scored 29 points for the Dukes. Kent State will look to bounce back on Friday against West Virginia. And now we have the Cowboys and Cardinals. The Cardinals are without Kyle Murray here. We're going to start out in the first, and it's going to be Jacoby Brissett to Marvin Harrison Jr., the Ohio State product. He's going to put the Cardinals up 10-0. Later, it's going to be a blocked punt by Sam Williams, who's going to get into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Marshawn Nealon to put the Cardinals up 10-7, and it goes right off his face. Later in the second, Jacoby Brissett's going to sneak it in, who has been weirdly successful with that in his career. He has a 95% success rate when sneaking it. That puts the Cardinals up 17-7. Later in the third, Brissett's going to look and find Trey McBride, the tight end, over the right side for the touchdown, 24-7. Cardinals, Trey McBride's putting together a solid season. We're going to head later to the fourth now, where both teams have had a field goal, but it's going to be Dak Prescott to Ryan Flournoy, a practice squad call for his first player, and that will do it. 27-17, the game is over. The Cardinals win. Both teams will sit at 3-5 as the Cowboys head into their Monday night matchup. The Cowboys take another loss in primetime, but unfortunately, that is all we have for sports today. I'm Josh Zaramet. Back to Lucas at the desk.
Thanks, Josh. People magazine has named actor Jonathan Bailey as the sexiest man alive. The Wicked and Bridgerton star is likely the first publicly out gay person to receive the award. There is no money prize. Bailey told Jimmy Fallon it's the honor of a lifetime. This is the 40th edition of People's Sexiest Man Alive. The first honor was given to Mel Gibson back in 1985.
Tomorrow night, the moon will look slightly bigger and brighter, marking the closest supermoon of the year. Because the moon's orbit around Earth is not a perfect circle, it gets nearer and farther as it goes around. This supermoon is the second of 3 this year, but it will be the closest out of all. No special equipment is needed, and as long as there's no clouds, just look up in the sky and you should be able to see it. Now, I don't know about you, Lucas, but I feel like we should round up the minions and take the moon.
Tonight, we're gonna steal the moon. So the moon's gonna be so close, you're gonna look up and it's gonna be a beautiful moon. But out of all the things we've seen in the moon in Ohio the last couple years, the lunar eclipses, the solar eclipses, what do you remember about that solar eclipse a couple years ago?
Oh my gosh, well, it's only a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so of course I'm never gonna forget it. But everything going black, being out with everyone and all your friends, and just admiring the whole beauty of the environment is really a great time.
It was an awesome experience. Glad we could experience it here in Northeast Ohio. That's all we have for this morning.
I'm Alex Tosco.
For more KSTV, tune in tonight at 6 p.m. or check us out on kenstater.com. I'm Lucas Foote. Have a good day, Portage County.